You need to have SEO, you need to have 4 decimal place pricing, you need to have optimized mobile experiences, you need to have apps. And so we're seeing in every aspect of B2B now, the need to push the technology forward, almost like what we saw in COVID, because you want the data. You want to know if there's a contractor in the field that is installing or servicing buildings that they can get an extra job in or two. It's almost like doctors. If doctors can see 2 or 3 more patients a day, their business is that much more successful. And that's what B2B is really going towards.
Welcome to the E-Commerce Toolbox Expert Perspectives, a podcast by Noibu, where we explore the elite strategies and cutting-edge insights with our expert guests. Get ready to propel your e-commerce business to the next level.
Welcome to another episode of the E-Commerce Toolbox Experts Perspective. Joining us today, we have a real digital expert in Manish, all the way from sunny Miami. Welcome, Manish.
Glad to be here.
Awesome. I always like to start off to learn a bit more of everyone's kind of career history. Maybe talk to us a bit about your career history and how that intersects with the formation of PeakActivity.
Absolutely. I started out as a software engineer probably 20 plus years ago at this point, and I was fortunate enough to land in a company that was at the time the number 2 online retail in the world, which was Office Depot. They were early in the catalog to e-commerce shift. And I grew up in an organization, both on the technology and business side, able to really grasp what large scale e-commerce looked like, with stores being involved, buy online, pick up in store before it was cool, et cetera. And in 2015, I was able to really kind of take all that experience and start a strategy and advisory company, PeakActivity. And as we started doing more strategy and advisory, fractional CTO work or chief digital officer work, we often got asked, can you help us grow our business? Can you help us implement systems or technology? And so we've grown from strategy and advisory to including customer experience in the future and beyond, and really systems implementation, partnerships, et cetera.
Makes a ton of sense. And where you and I actually originally met was we share a lot of heavily customized, complex, larger retailers. So it's not kind of your mom and pop that's starting a website. It's more so in the scale, complexity, maybe home furnishing. So maybe talk to us a bit about customized e-com solutions and why that's important and how you guys look at actually tailoring some of those things to the market.
Look, it all comes down to customer experience. Customers expect Amazon-like experiences or better Apple-like experiences. And if you're small, you're starting in your garage, you can put a standard Shopify storefront out, you're fine. But as soon as you started getting into 2 warehouses, or you want to pick up from store or ship from store or deliver from store, it gets really, really complex really fast. And you've got to have the right solutions. You got to have the right, I like to make it really 3 T's. You've got to have the right techniques and understand what's been done before. You've got to have the right team, and you've got to really understand from those teams and the techniques, what are those tools that you're going to use. And I think that's really where we met, in having experience where we're chasing down bugs and we need tools to say, what are the right tools to really track and identify performance issues or bugs that are on a site? And when you get complex, they're harder to find. You can't just have a standard installation and off you go.
Yeah, it's really interesting to hear your perspective on that. I'd never heard the 3 T's before, but have you ever come across businesses that are really struggling to scale because they set up some simple infrastructure at the beginning? And how do you know, for anyone listening, if you are one of those businesses that are actually about to hit that point where they're starting to be held back by some of their earlier technology decisions?
Almost all of our work is in those types of businesses. So we've come across them quite a bit. Usually what happens, and I'll use just the numbers, you're hitting $10, $15, $20 million in online revenue, and you're seeing customer concerns coming in. Hey, I tried to check out and I wasn't able to. Your customer care team starts getting deluged with tickets, where you just have to look for, some of those are telltale signs where your customer satisfaction is going down. Or on the opposite, you're not growing fast enough. You might be a $5 to $10 million business, but you can't cross into the $20 million range or $30 million range. What's happening is you're leaving money on the table. And so identifying it is really somewhat qualitative. You'll see the number of bugs you have and the number of tickets you have. So that's quantitative. And somewhat qualitative, meaning as a good business owner, as a good entrepreneur, you'll have your pulse. You're talking to customers and you'll hear, hey, your site was slow, or I had 2 items in mixed mode to the cart. I wanted to pick one item locally, and then I wanted to have one shipped and I couldn't do it. And why are you guys so behind?
Makes sense. And as you've put together like a consulting and strategy team, when businesses do hit call those 20 million range, I'm assuming they've collected large sets of data. How do you think companies that are at that stage should start now looking at that data to improve their customer experience and actually drive more conversion? Because e-com is a really interesting game. You build up traffic over time, and then the more traffic you get, in some cases, your conversion starts to decrease. Overall sales should be still increasing. How should some of these companies be looking at the data that they have to be able to then make decisions to drive conversion?
I think you have to roll up your sleeves and you have to, this is where we love the word technique. You have to have the right techniques to look at that data. You've got to have the right tools to look at that data. And you've got to have the right team to look at that data. Because what happens oftentimes is you've done things either in-house on the cheap or just used off-the-shelf solutions. And at some point, they don't solve your problems. But what you're talking about is you've got to roll up your sleeves and understand how to dissect your GA4 data, how to run a conversion rate optimization program, how to really think about A/B testing, how to think about performance identification. And those things really require different people than the ones that got you to 20, 30 million. They require different strategies. And the idea here is bring in some people who may have done it before, bring in some tools who can help you cross that chasm. And most importantly, don't just think that you can just throw money at the solution. It's hard work. And we took a platform that was less than $1 billion and we scaled to $7 billion. It's not something that was just, we snapped our fingers and we were $7 billion. It's hard work on the performance marketing side. You can't just throw money at Meta or Google and magically traffic appears. You have to optimize it. The same thing is on your data. You have to know how to look at it and optimize it and use it to your benefit.
Any of the recent advancements in AI kind of changed how you guys are looking at some of these things and actually going through large data sets with your clients to drive performance?
One of the magical things that people don't talk about, it's great to talk about ChatGPT, but one of the magical things is this ability in real time to bring large sets of data into memory and compute against them. So if you hear about energy costs with AI, what it is it's really, I'm able to use natural language to then go and say, hey, my conversion is always down on Sunday nights. Could you tell me what are the 3 indicators of why that is? But our practice around AI is really data and AI together. If you don't have your data in order and you can't suck it into a large language model or suck it into Snowflake or the right tool, then you can't use AI. And what's magical in this space is the providers are all building in the AI solutions. You don't have to go build this yourselves. But again, go back to your previous question. It starts with data. If you have garbage in, garbage out is what you're going to get. You've got to really think through magically how you're going to get that data in order.
Makes a lot of sense. And switching gears a little bit here on something we chatted about ahead of the podcast, but B2B is something that we're candidly seeing more and more of. I feel like there's more legacy tech stacks in B2B right now, whereas like B2C, a lot of the large upgrades were done during COVID, like 2020, 2021, a lot of the large replatforming. And now it's a lot of what you said before, right? Which is like updating your front end, incremental changes, like redesigning certain PDP pages and stuff like that versus like outright your platform. But B2B seems to be at a different stage. Maybe talk to us a bit about what we're seeing in the market for modernization of e-com platforms in general, and maybe specifically around B2B.
Absolutely. So B2B didn't have as much of a need compared to B2C during COVID. B2B is a relationship business. If you're a AC repair person and you need parts, you may just be able to go down to your local distributor, have a hot dog, have a slice of pizza, and get your capacitors at the same time. And you knew they were in stock and you create a relationship with the person at the distribution warehouse. What's happened now is you have 20 or 30-year-old people who are going, I'm on the go. I'm trying to squeeze in 2 extra jobs. I don't have time to go chit chat and have a snack of a bucket of popcorn at the warehouse. I need to use my mobile phone and I need to have that right capacitor and I need to have it delivered to my job site, or I might have a larger job and it's not just parts anymore. So the experience of what is now seeing a generational shift and a technology shift. So what was technology that may have been implemented in the mid 2000s, some of the original Magento installs or some of the original even Salesforce installs, Salesforce has gone through 3 or 4 iterations of their B2B product. Why? You need to have SEO. You need to have 4 decimal place pricing. You need to have optimized mobile experiences. You need to have apps. And so we're seeing in every aspect of B2B now, the need to push the technology forward, almost like what we saw in COVID, because you want the data. You want to know if there's a contractor in the field that is installing or servicing buildings that they can get an extra job in or two. It's almost like doctors. If doctors can see 2 or 3 more patients a day, their business is that much more successful. And that's what B2B is really going towards.
Yeah. I'd never heard it from that perspective before. Are you starting to see people trying to optimize conversion rates on B2B and actually investing there? Whereas before, like some of the sentiment was, well, they're either going to buy or they're going to call me. Whereas like the accessibility now drives more effectively competition. Curious if you're seeing that and that is becoming a thing.
It's an area of curiosity. I would largely leave it to or start with experience. Oftentimes B2B, you might have 6,000 people doing $1 million on your website every single year or on your e-com platform. You don't have the same consumer data sets that B2C has, but we definitely see the optimization of the experience. And then when you walk back from that and say, well, how do you optimize an experience? You need conversion rate optimization, A/B testing, you need bug identification, you need performance identification, you need to ride along with your users. So we're definitely seeing a lot more interest in organizations being built there. And I think it's going to be a game changer. Everybody wants to start with some user testing, get some experience optimization, but then go deeper.
Yeah. One thing that I've seen as well is they also want to potentially reallocate some of the workforce that's working on that internally or cut some costs. So instead of having 35 support agents, if you make your experience better, you can consolidate territory reps, right? So instead of having 1 rep that covers or 5 reps that cover a territory, you can go down to 3. And like having technology start to play a key role is kind of part of the modernization that I've actually seen on my end as well.
It's simple math. If it costs you $5 or $6 to service a customer with a human interaction, and you can push that customer into a self-serve experience for the more transactional type stuff, which might cost you 50 cents. Now you have $4.50 to play with to really give a better experience for when there is an issue or a complex job or things like that. So it's not just a savings, but you can accretively add to your top line and bottom line.
Cool. As we look to start to wrap up, what is your long-term vision for PeakActivity? How are you planning on continuously driving innovation and growth in the space?
We've really sort of had this broad experience where if you're a B2B manufacturer or distributor, we've been in your shoes. If you're a retailer, omni-channel retailer, we've been in your shoes. And the people we hire, we're not just a technology firm. We're really a professional services firm that hires people who have been there and done that. And really what we've done is say, how do we push innovation? We push innovation with real world experience and real world projects. So instead of saying, we're going to go off and take venture capital and start an experiment, we're really all about saying, let's go in partnership, co-innovate. So we'll see an opportunity in fashion retail to say, you know what? Apple just launched their Apple Vision Pro. Let's think about how fashion catalogs that may be a print catalog coming in a mailbox today really are in the future going to become something that you might slap on a headset. We know it's 5 or 10 years out, but if you build the data sets, if you build the experiences that might just be on your website, browse a catalog, we know that those functionalities exist. So we're really all about saying, let's co-innovate from the strategy and advisory level down to execution and bring in partners like Noibu and say, hey, we're thinking about a new way to optimize performance. Let's work together in a way that we can advance commerce and innovation together. And so we love the term co-innovation because it doesn't happen in a vacuum.
Makes a ton of sense. And Manish, obviously we've enjoyed working with your firm for the last couple of years, and we're excited for a partnership moving forward. So I appreciate you hopping on today and these great points of conversation. So thanks again.
Thank you for having me.
The Ecommerce Toolbox Expert Perspectives is brought to you by Noibu. To find out more about Noibu and how we can help you debug your e-commerce site and rocket your revenue, visit www.noibu.com. That's Noibu.com. And then make sure to search for the Ecommerce Toolbox Expert Perspectives on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or anywhere else podcasts are found, and click subscribe so you don't miss out on any future episodes. On behalf of the team here at Noibu, thanks for listening.